last week, the governor of California was in town.
Yes, I'm sorry I missed him.
I was able to have dinner with him one evening. And Jerry was in town for the board meeting of the Nuclear Threat Initiative.
He is now a member of the board.
He is, right. And he's one of the only American politicians, I think, who is really talking about the Nuclear Threat Initiative. I mean, people don't think that there is such a problem these days. I mean,
he's passionate about it.
Yeah, oh no, he totally is.
Yeah.
Very committed to it and thinks we all should be talking about it.
Yes. One of the two great threats to the planet, global change, climate change, and nuclear weapons.
Talk about the threat. How real is it?
It's very real. I mean, you've got 15,000 nuclear weapons in the world, held by 9 different countries, stable and unstable. That's enough to destroy the planet several times over. The 2 biggest arsenals are in the hands of the U.S. and Russia. No progress on disarmament. It's basically stopped. All the countries with nuclear weapons, our allies and adversaries, are all building a new generation of weapon. They're all sort of what we euphemistically call modernizing.
Including
including
United
us.
States. Yes.
We have a plan to spend $1 trillion on new nuclear weapons over the next 25 years. You know, this is an arms race, and this is why Jerry Brown is so concerned. Okay, let me tell you about some good news here. This is increasingly an issue for members of Congress. This is what you're seeing, is people are worried about this. They're worried about the overall situation. But as long as Barack Obama was the president, they didn't do anything against him. But now this is an interesting situation for liberals. You know, liberals will support a liberal president even if they disagree with some of his policies. Now that it's Trump, people are looking at the policies with more concern, both because of the inherent instability in the policies, building more nuclear weapons, no disarmament, and also because it's Donald Trump.
Right.
And they're concerned about an unstable individual with his finger on the button. So Senator Markey...
Who talked loosely about, if we got these nukes, why not use them during the campaign?
Why do we have them if we don't use them? That is a chilling statement. So Senator Ed Markey and Representative Ted Lieu, a rising star, have joined together to restore checks and balances on nuclear policy. That's a bill that says if we're going to use nuclear weapons, the Congress has to authorize their use before we use them first. So if you, Donald Trump, decide you want to use a nuclear weapon against ISIS, which he's talked about in the past, you have to come to the Congress for authorization. The way it is right now is only one man controls the nuclear arsenal. Only the president makes that decision, and he doesn't have to check with anybody about it. Not even Steve Bannon.
Right.
Oh, boy. God, that is just so terrifying. Yeah, we talked about this when, like, during the campaign. You know, you came in and you talked about this.
No,
and
I wrote a column about it.
Yeah, and I mean, to be perfectly honest, I remember listening to that and being like, well, at least we don't have to worry about that. Like, I don't think we're really going to have to get to that point because I don't think he's going to win.
So I want you all to go back to that place inside of you that remembers how you felt.
Horrified. Yeah.
And here it is, and we're dealing with it, and we're so distracted by everything else that's going on that we're missing some of the fundamentals that are here. But if this man has control of the largest and most effective nuclear arsenal in the world.
Right, and if you think about this decision-making process, right, it's like, what, 5 to 8 to 10 minutes or something?
10 minutes max of discussion of the situation.
Right. So
then
you're told they're incoming missiles.
Yeah.
And he alone, without consulting anybody,
doesn't have to. No, not
can
required.
decide. And you got the code, and he pushes a button, and off we go.
And within 4 minutes of an order, our missiles are flying. And once they are launched, they cannot be recalled. There is no Tom Cruise coming in here to save the day. Once he launches the missiles, it's all over. And remember, we've had numerous instances
where they've been
where there's been false reports that we're under attack. I mean,
a flock of geese.
Mr. President,
in one
a flock
case.
of geese, a rising moon, all kinds of a computer glitch, a false tape put in the system that mimicked a full-scale attack. Yeah, presidents have been
one case out in a silo, I think in North Dakota somewhere. The guy there put in a training tape.
A training tape.
Which if you see this is what you ought to do.
This is at NORAD.
Guy sees at NORAD. Yeah. And the guy sees it and he thinks it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All the big screens are showing incoming Soviet ICBMs.
And Donald Trump has been very, very wrong about things, right?
Yeah.
Just look at his wiretap tweets, right? To think that he, with his media diet, as weird as it is, could see something that looks like could justify nuclear war.
Right.
And within 4 minutes.
Right. And this is why the Markey Liu bill becomes so important. Because as that scenario, there's also first use, where he just decides to use one. And as this presidency sinks, and I'm with the stock market on this, I think this thing is unraveling. Mm-hmm. You know, we are not going to get any of the good things that he promised us, and we're probably going to get a lot bad. You got to be very worried about a wag the dog scenario, where he creates a national security crisis to justify him being president and repress any kind of opposition or efforts to remove him. And that could involve a nuclear scenario.
Holy crap.
Because you remember when Nixon pulled something like this and went to DEFCON 3 in 1973 when he was under impeachment threat. So you got to be worried about this. So if you can't wait till then to do something, put some checks and balances into our nuclear policy now. They're sensible in their own right, and they're vividly demonstrated by the nature of the president we currently have.
Right.